the first in-person high-level meeting of the 75th session of the General Assembly. It is only fitting that we gathered to discuss the question of Palestine, an issue that has been on the UN agenda for 75 years. Our meeting today is reflection of the gravity of the situation in the occupied Palestinian territory, particularly in Gaza and occupied East Jerusalem. So far, we have heard from over 50 speakers. There are many more member states to speak. Altogether, the list of speakers has 103 requests. So most probably, I will separate the meeting with the foreign ministers in attendance, and we will continue on Tuesday for those who will not have the chance to speak today. Listening to the views of the member states here today, I am, as President of the General Assembly, issuing this appeal for peace. I have seen that there is broad, near unanimous support for the way forward. First, the ceasefire. The bloodshed and violence must end before it's too late. The news just now of the overdue ceasefire in Gaza is reassuring. This was one of the key demands of member states that we heard from today's debate. This shows that when the General Assembly takes the lead and member states speak up together, we get results. Second, Israel, as an occupying power, must adhere to international human rights and humanitarian law. Third, we must address critical humanitarian needs of the Palestinians. This includes mobilizing support for UNRWA and rebuilding vital public infrastructure that has been destroyed, particularly in Gaza. Fourth, we must intensify diplomatic efforts in pursuit of intra-Palestinian reconciliation. Finally, intensified diplomatic efforts must forge a path to viable negotiations between the parties with the goal of ending the occupation and achieving a viable two-state solution with the State of Israel and the State of Palestine living side by side in peace, security, and mutual recognition with recognized borders on the basis of 1967 lines with Jerusalem as the capital of both sides. I cannot overemphasize what I said earlier. We have been at this unfortunate juncture too many times. This latest flare-up did not happen in a vacuum. This is not an isolated occurrence, and it cannot be diverged from the broader context of this decades-long issue, including the protracted military occupation of the Palestinian territories. The occupation, compounded by political impasse and lack of negotiations, is the main underlying source of instability, disillusionment, and the perpetuation of this conflict. The Security Council has yet to even speak with a unified voice about the tragedy unfolding before us. To say that this is disappointing is understatement. I convened today's meeting in a large part to compensate for the silence of the Security Council. The General Assembly assumed its responsibility under the Charter of the United Nations. We will be at this point again and again if we do not commit to taking concrete steps towards achieving a just and comprehensive peace for Israelis and Palestinians. With this in mind, as we reaffirm our collective commitment to multilateralism on this historic 75th session of the General Assembly, let us commit to do so with actions and not just words. I appeal to all member states to join me in committing to peace today and every day. This is my appeal to peace.